Hello, my name is Luis Almeida. I'm the teacher and student of the ideas of Spinoza and Gurdjieff. I created these videos over a period of time and I've accumulated over 50. And I think, I decided to put it on Patreon because they're easy to access, all this information. Now, this information, if you begin to grasp and understand, it could change your life. It has changed my life. Each video expresses ideas that Gurdjieff communicated and Spinoza communicated. Now, Spinoza was a philosopher during the 17th century, and Gurdjieff was a mystic, and he had his own philosophy. I follow In Search of the Miraculous, the book written by Ouspensky. And that's the only book I follow. I don't follow all what's in that book because I think it's not relevant of what I do. I'm only concerned with the psychological nature of human nature. Why do we suffer? Why are we in pain? Why are we so needy? Why do we lack love? Why do we need love? Why are we dependent on others to give us love? We're always looking for love at all the wrong places, as you've heard. But there's a possibility of coming to your own love through the power of your understanding. What is the understanding? It's the mind knows that it knows. Most of us, or if you're, say, highly intellectual, see, Gurdjieff talked about there are three centers: the intellectual, the emotional, and the moving center. We have all three, but one of them is dominant, or there might be two that are dominant. So a highly intellectual individual may find these ideas impossible because you already have predetermined concepts. I said predetermined, or concepts that will determine the way you respond to you react to things in nature. So my goal is to reveal to you, if you're highly intellectual or emotional, you're going to benefit. I came to this work over 50 years ago, 1970. I met my teacher and I was a highly emotional individual. I learned how to acknowledge that I had a mind and how to learn how to use my mind. An intellectual must learn how to identify emotions and learn about emotions. One of my students came to me. He was in a Gurdjieff group. Now, many of my students were involved in Gurdjieff groups. This particular individual, highly intellectual, and he felt empty. He didn't feel that he was complete. He wanted to get in touch with his emotions. Now, one thing about these Gurdjieff groups, I mean, there are a lot of them, and let me tell you, Gurdjieff was a great mystic, no question. And I value a lot of his ideas, especially what I found in Search of the Miraculous. But this individual felt that he did not develop where he needed to. He didn't feel fulfilled and happy. He felt always in a state of power, arrogance, and he was contemptuous towards his wife. He worked with me for over about 3 years, and he began to get in touch with his emotions, and his whole environment changed. His wife even became attractive to him, and this man is in his 70s, so she wanted to be more intimate, and he was happy to oblige. Now, so I work with individuals who are the age of 17 up to whatever age you are. You have to have two qualities. You must be dissatisfied with your life, and you must want something. You might have an intuition of a higher level of consciousness, of being a spiritual individual. But that's not enough. See, you have insights, you have sensitivities, but you must have to learn how to bring them out. You know, everything, and say if you're in sports, if you're a runner, a track runner, you train every day and you have a coach. If you're a baseball player, you have a coach. If you're a tennis player, you have a multiple team of people help you improve yourself. And that's what Gurdjieff said very importantly. He said, you need a teacher. And you're going to say, oh, no, I don't. But do you realize that all your thinking determines your existence? And if you have certain beliefs and attitudes and habits and premises, where do they come from? Many of our attitudes and premises and beliefs and habits were developed in our environment we grew up in. So your environment may be pretty good or not so good. In my environment, not so good. So I learned through my teacher, and today, after many years, I learned how to come to a new sense of self, a stronger idea of myself, a feeling of fulfillment and self-love. I finally met what you would call, or everyone calls, a soulmate. And what is a soulmate? Well, someone you really connect with, not only in a physical level, sexual level, but a good thinking level, an emotional level, a spiritual level. And so in my environment, there were, say, 11 siblings, and there was no time for my parents to hold me, hug me, guide me. They were so involved in survival. And consequently, there was a lot of arguing, a lot of hatred, a lot of abuse in the family. And we are suffering as children. Each children, since infancy, has a requirement to be nurtured, to be loved, to be nourished, and to feel protected and sheltered. If you don't have those, you're going to be suffering, and many of you are. That's why some of you are taking drugs, some of you are drinking too much alcohol, and I'm talking about excessive. All these things are fine, drugs, whatever. That's fine, recreational, okay. But when you begin to depend on them, one of my past students, I had to let him go because he said, I can't function without smoking a lot of pot during the day. So he's addicted to pot. And I said, so in reality, that's a dependence on something to make us feel better. This work that we do will make you increase the power of self, the power of thinking. When you begin to develop a power of thinking, you begin to have a power of self. No longer will you be so needy, depending on others' approval of you. You'll have your own approval, your own love. So when you have this love within yourself, you're able to share it, and you're able to receive love. See, there are many people who believe you should think of others before yourself. You should love others before yourself. There are great stories about a soldier who sacrifices his life to save his team in war. So he saves maybe 5 other soldiers, but he kills himself. And his wife receives this great flag with medals, and she is honored. Why? I think something's going on with my video. I'm not sure, but I'm going to continue, see what happens. And so the wife loses her husband in war. She's a young woman, has 3 children. Is that fair? The idea that we should sacrifice ourselves for others is nonsense. See, we are programmed to believe that's good, and many of you believe that. But what's even better is to love yourself, and then you can love others. Truly. Otherwise, it's kind of a game we play. If we love others, we get all this approval. We got all these medals. Look what you did. You did a wonderful thing. You saved somebody. Well, that is good. But what's even better is to know yourself. So these videos on Patreon, it only costs you, say, there are a few of them that you can access without any cost. There are a few of them. And there are quite a few, actually. And to access all of them, it's only $5. Only $5. So do be good to yourself. Give yourself something special. an opportunity to wake up to a higher level of intelligence. You have an intelligence, but there's another level that you're not in contact with. You must tap into it. So I hope you listen to this. If you have any comments, and before we go on, I want to say something about a couple of books that I recommend. First of all, the books that I recommend if you're going to follow my work is Spinoza's Ethics. And you can find this on Amazon.com. And a used book is very inexpensive, maybe $2 or $3, but the shipping might be $3 or $4. And you can find the exact book on my website. And you can find my website. It's at wayofspinoza.com. Wayofspinoza.com. But I think you will be able to see it in the comments below. The other book is In Search of the Miraculous, written by Ouspensky. It's a great book. But I don't follow all of it. I only follow what relates to human nature. And this book is my book that I published January 1st. It's been 10 months now. Case studies of individuals who work with me, who are applying ideas of Spinoza and Gurdjieff into their lives, and they were able to transform their lives to a certain degree. More power, more understanding increases power, but we must find a way to do that. And that's why the power of journaling is so important. And this book, again, The Way of Spinoza and Gurdjieff, they're examples of how you can use step by step of how to, say, awaken this and tap into this higher intelligence. The journaling process is the factualizing the issues that we are involved in life. You are, in many ways, life offers many opportunities, and we are, say, put in a situation which sometimes is overwhelming. Even a simple thing of going to the grocery store, and say you're in a hurry, and you have a meeting at 2:30, and it takes you about 15 minutes to get there. But you want to stop at a grocery store. You always go there. You're going to go in and out, because that's what happens. You go in and out for a few things. You went in there, and there was a line. And the individual at the cash register could not pay his bill because someone was wrong with his credit card. Now, you're waiting there, and you're waiting there. Now, the time is ticking. And what do? You're standing there, and you feel emotions. What are the emotions? Well, the first of them is desire. I want to go into the store and want to buy my things and get out. 5 minutes. But I'm standing in line, and now it's 5 minutes, now it's 10 minutes, and I feel, oh my God, I feel stress. I feel pain. I feel anger. I feel hate. Now, those are the emotions that are triggered. We have them always. I still get them. I still have them. I'm still triggered, but I can understand them. I can moderate them. I don't be overwhelmed by them. Some of you haven't talked to your parents for over several years. Some of you aren't expressing your rage and anger. And those of you who can, you must learn how to think about how to understand these emotions. Anger, what is anger? What is hate? And what is pain? And what is desire? So we'll go into this. As you look at these videos, you'll get some of these ideas. It's all there. However, again, Gurdjieff says you need a teacher. So some of you may want a teacher. So email me if you want one-to-one meetings and coaching. So the other book is called How to Solve Life's Problems. Great ideas, great book. This was written by my teacher. I had to publish it. He was just for his students, and this was probably written in 1975, and it's so excellent. This is a required reading for my students, and I'll give you an example. Chapter 36, and I think that's it. I can't do any more.